Welcome back to my channel. Today I am playing with Mixed Media Mayhem with acrylic paint, stamping, and chipboard. It is also a Christie's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches sketch, and this is the sketch from Stella Harris. I think it was day 9. I'm also using my counterfeit kit challenge from June. That was a mouthful. I am going to scrapbook all of these pictures of my oldest when she was about 4. We were heading to the zoo, and I picked out some stuff from my kit. And those nesting dies, which we'll get to in a minute. I picked out this on the go chipboard title because she's sitting in the van and we're going to be on the go, so why not? That came from this Delightful from Hip Kit Club, and I have lots of those left yet, and they're old. I also picked out this shimmery piece of cardstock that's the same color as the title, and this piece of Vicki Boutin paper that I have just a bit left, but it's more than enough to do the almost a third, it looks like, in the sketch. And so I'm going to use this as, instead of the plain piece, it's going to be patterned, and then all of these are going to go on the side here. I know on the sketch it says 2x2s, but 2x2s makes them too small. So I'm going to take them down to 2x3s. And so that side's going to look a little bit different just because I won't be able to stack them the same way. But this is how I'm going to cut them all down, but I don't make you watch me cut them all down, just the first one. So I was looking at the 2x2 and went, no. So, and now those are all cut down, and then I am going to trim these down to be 4x5s to start with, but I am going to use my dies, and I don't make you watch me use the dies for this part, but I will cut the dies down with the inside one. So, yep. Because it's Mixed Media Mayhem, I need to get some mixed media on here, so I'm going to use some acrylic paint because that is part of the recipe. And I'm going to pick out this sunny yellow from the dollar store, and it is old as the hills, but that's okay. I'm just gonna put some yellow on my mixed media map. I'm gonna water it down. I'm gonna mix it. I'm gonna test it where my pattern paper goes to make sure it's the color I kind of want it to be. It dries quite a bit lighter than that, and I'm happy with that. And I was going to use this packaging, but it was stiffer, so I used this Ziploc bag instead, and I'm just going to smush the paint on, which I really like the way it looks today, and I didn't want to do anything any more intensive than that today with the paint. There's lots of things you can do with paint. I just didn't want to do it today. So I'm going to make sure there's some underneath the title, and then I am going to get it up in the corner a bit. I know that my pictures are going to hide quite a bit of that, so I'm not being too picky about it. And then I'm going to water down that paint a little bit more, and then I'm going to do some splatters. So I start with this big brush, and I needed to wipe myself down because I splattered myself, and then I grabbed the little brush and got some little pieces. That's a piece of eraser that I just squished off, and then some little splatters. I had to add a little bit more water to make that work better. And then wipe down my mat, put that aside to dry, and now I'm going to do some of the mats. So I'm going to show you one of the sets and then not everything else. This was the first time I used this die, so I actually had to take the whole part of it and line it up again and run it through another time, but it worked. So eventually, but those little ones are like, because they're tiny little holes, so it was a little intense. I had to use my piercing tool to get all the little pieces out, but it is what it is. I'm using my Spellbinders low tack tape to tape on the outside, and then the 3 of them all together eventually. So I want them centered and move it, moving it, moving it. So I'm going to get the outside one down, and then the middle one down, and then the middle one down. And so I need all three because the holes don't actually, they just punch the holes, they don't actually punch the frame part. So you need both of the frame parts to get the frame part, if that makes sense. So this is what it looks like when it comes out. So I'm just running my hand over to get some of the holes out. And I'm going to keep this taped together because it's where I need it to be. And then just double checking that it's a good size for my picture. And then what I have left on this bottom is more than enough. So or just barely enough, I could say. So I'm just going to put it back on, and because I taped those three together, made it really easy to get it exactly the same as the other one. And then, so that's this die, which is from Spellbinders, and it is called, if you didn't see, the Hemstitch Rectangles. And then showed you a little bit with my pokey tool, and then I cut a white piece with the larger frame part of the die, and I also cut my photos with the inside part of the frame die. So that is those two bigger pictures all cut up so that I don't have to do that on screen, because that's a lot. And then on the sketch, these are kind of lined up but going diagonal down the page, and these are lined up going vertical. I'm going to stagger these a bit, and I thought I was going to stagger the big ones too, but yeah. I'm going to put these frames together, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the outside and inside parts of the frame. I'm going to put the white piece on, which is my backing, and I did this because I wanted the holes in my frame to be white. Otherwise it would have shown some of my mixed media and the yellow and that kind of stuff through the frame, which sometimes is fine, but that's not what I wanted today. So, and then my photo fits right in there because I used the same die to cut it as well. I did think about popping the photos up on foam, but I decided not this time. Would have added some more dimension to my page, but I didn't feel like it was going to need it, so. And then the white. And then just trimming anything that I can see, because I didn't get it quite square, but that's easy enough to do. And then my photo, a little more glue on the frame, but my photo goes in, and those two are ready to get on the page. So that I like. This on the go is going to go on, and I decided that should go on first because it's taller, and then I smush it down just a little bit more than it should have been, which means all of these are going to be a whole lot tighter because I'm going to put the on, and it is really close to the, but I go to pull the off and it's not coming off, and it's going to be what it is. But it is what it is. And then the go I'm going to make sure is pretty close to the so that it looks intentional, even though it wasn't. I'm also going to use just this one stamp from this Hero Arts kit, and this is from the May Classics from 2023, and it says enjoy the ride, because we are going for a ride in the van, and for a 3-year-old that's always fun. So she was so happy to go places. We did lots when she was little, but we were definitely on the go a lot. So still thinking about staggering those two bigger ones. And then I'm going to back all 5 of those 2x3s in a white and then the green. So the white is 3 1/8 by 2 1/8, and the green is 3 1/4 by 2 1/4, so that it gets a little bit of each around. So, and then I want to do some more stamping because one of the other prompts for this week is stamping. So I pulled out this one, and this I got from Studio Calico. It is a Jasmine Jones, I think. Yeah, Jasmine Jones stamp, and it's called Big Picture. It's actually a wedding one, but I pulled this ring out because it reminded me of tires, and why not? And so I'm doing some first generation, second generation, and third generation stamping to give different dimensions for those rings. Just figuring out where I think I'm going to put that photograph, and then I'm going to get the pattern paper down. My head gets in the way to make sure it gets lined up properly. All good. And I'm like, yeah. And then getting these on. And so I do want to stagger these. I am going to raise one of them up on foam dots, but I do want them to kind of fill that space. So getting them just so. And then I'm going to put the foam dots on the middle one. Or the foam squares, I guess they're squares. And so I am going to adhere down one side to begin with and not the other. I just don't want to put both sides on just because I'm going to tuck those other ones underneath, but I do want to get this line in first. So I'm going to do this bottom photo first. I'm just going to put one line of glue or tape runner, I guess. Adhesive. I used adhesive. And then I'm going to do the top one. I'm using my T-square, so it makes it easy to line it up, and I can use the ruler to make sure that it is about the same from the top and the bottom. And then this middle one, I'm only pulling off the two parts of the foam squares for the the more left side, and then I can sneak these photos underneath. And then I'm just going to smush some glue underneath because that makes it easy. And then still trying to figure out how I want these to go on the page. That would have worked. But then I make them straight and I go, hey, I kind of like that more. They are in line with each other on the sketch, even though they're at an angle but in line. But yeah. And I'm obviously only using one half of the sketch, not both. I do have these simple stories. Hello today. Chipboard pieces. I think I got these in a Hip Kit Club as well. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did. It's got the cream background on it, which I have a hard time trying to use, but I pulled out the butterfly because it's the same green. And then this other one that has the pinky and the orange on it are very similar to the pinky and the orange in the Vicki Boutin paper. So I'm going to use it and some of these hearts. I thought about putting the hearts in the circle or the O's in the title, but I didn't like that they were sideways, and I don't know why that bothered me, but it did. So, and then I pulled out the other one that has some orange in it, and I'm pulling out the chipboard hearts, and chipboard is the third thing on here. So all those butterflies and all those hearts are chipboard. And then I decide, yeah, we're gonna do this straight on, but I want a little bit more stamping, so I'm just gonna add just the tiniest bit more of those circles, or a lot more, depending on what you think. And one more right there, and done. All right, I'm going to commit to these being on straight. And T-square again. So I'm going to move it over just a bit. I was just trying to sort out, where did I want it? How did I want it? Yes, I moved my ruler over. About there. It's not perfectly centered between the pattern paper and the title, but that's okay. I do want it straight, but and that's the joy of using glue, is you have a minute to be like, oh, that's not quite straight. What did I do the first time? That one's gonna be put on. Yay, I've committed to where those photos are going. And then I'm gonna put the green butterfly in the middle because I have orangey pink ones and I just thought that'd be more balanced. And then I think the sideways one has a little bit, I have a little bit less room because the title's there, so that's why I did it that way. And I didn't want to cover up her hands because her hands are pretty cute. I'm going to put these chipboard hearts on. And I was pretty impressed with myself because I got the stamping, the paint, and the chipboard. And then for embellishments, I didn't add anything extra than those things. And then the pattern paper. And that's it, which I'm pretty stoked about. I decided to use some of these other hearts on the chipboard as well because the hearts, the color is not quite where I was going, but it is in all of the butterflies and it is in variations of the Vicki Boutin paper as well. So I figured, why not? Might as well use them all up when I've got a page that'll work with that. So just sprinkling them around, kind of like enamel dots. I did look at my enamel dots, but I didn't really have a green that I wanted to use, and the other colors weren't quite the right colors. I just weren't feeling them, and I'm happy to just have the chipboard on because, you know, most of the time I had a whole lot of extra when I'm doing a mixed media recipe, so having the recipe I'm kind of impressed with. I thought about a little bit of washi, doesn't happen, and that is it. So here are some close-ups. There'll be some still shots to follow as well. If you haven't checked out the Christie's Beautiful Life Facebook group, you should go check it out. She does the 30 days of sketches a few times a year. If you haven't checked out Mixed Media Mayhem, go check those ladies out too. They are amazing, and I love to play along with them. So cute. Oh, she's so cute. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you enjoyed it, I really appreciate a thumbs up. If you're new to me, I would love to have you here as a subscriber. Yeah. Thanks again for watching. Have yourself a great day. There's some more videos here if you want to take a look at some more of the stuff I do. Thanks again.